morning, Wiserians, Wiser Nation. Wonderful morning to us all. What a delight to have us all here. Angela, good morning. First in class today. Thank you so much for being here. Olutomi, Stephanie, Boluebi. Did I get it right? Let's see. Ogukudu, Udoka, Love, Ifi, Amina, Donna, Amina Grace, Joshua, Rosaline, Chere, Kayode, Divine Gifts, Nancy, Tony, Ifunaya, Kumbi, Mommy, Jake Sprays, Jubike, Joyce, George, Am for God, Faith, Udoka, King Philip, Marianne, Ogo, Ogenemaga. Wow, what a number. Ebikweluye. Good to see you, my sister. I'm so delighted and honored that we are here. We're here this morning. The numbers are just coming in. What a joy. What a great privilege. Yesterday, I was going to make a poor decision on something. Guess what? Guess what slapped me in the face? Wiser, some of our teachings at Wiser just drew me. I could feel the drawing. It just drew me like, Joyce, I'm drawing foolishness out of you and drawing you into a place of wisdom. Come on, do the right thing. We are building new neurons in our brains. It's not a one-off, and you really can't change so much in one class. The more we stay with it, that's why we're here 31 solid days. The more we stay with it, the more growth. And then imagine if we're able to carry it on in the next year. Please, if you have not yet downloaded any app that would help you continue to stay in the place of wisdom. And I know for us Christians, yes, there are 66 books of the Bible. I'm saying just take this one and feed on it month in, month out, in addition to the others. Then for those of us who are Muslim, you have your word to keep feeding on. So feed on it. Then in addition, find the Sword of Goliath, the books that will help you in your field. If you're in management, what new management book are you reading? What is changing? And even if it's one book you want to repeat and repeat until you become. If you're in sales, like me, I have finally accepted the truth that I'm in the business of selling. I used to think I was just in the business of teaching and coaching, but I'm in the business of selling. So my task this last month has been to learn how to sell, how to be more persuasive, and how to practice. So what is that thing you're going to add to your library that would help you build new neural pathways to becoming the person that God has designed you to be, and the person that you want to be, because he allows us to have our own dreams and aspirations, right? So let's do it right. I'm grateful that we're on day 6, and I'm also like, we're already on day 6. It was just day 1 yesterday. Here we are on day 6. So we're ready to start. Before we do, if you have not subscribed to this channel, this is a good time to click the subscribe button. Also, click that bell icon that is on the side. Why? Whenever we go live, you would get a notification that we're about to go live, or we have gone live. You get a notification in your email or somewhere, some other way. Google will send you a notification that Joyce Daniels is going live. So who knows what lives will be going on next year? I'm not announcing anything, but I have a number of things planned for next year that would really interest you. Some of them might be like an extension of Wiser. Some of them will be other offerings that will be very beneficial to you. So this is a good time to click on subscribe and click on the bell icon for notifications. This is also a good time to click the share button. Under this video, you see that arrow that says share. Share, put it up in on your status or some group. Or if you're in the Wiser group, you can copy what was put there this morning. We're going live with Coach Ella. So copy that and put it there. It has the link so that people in your space can join us. I've had people send me messages to say they joined because someone put it in their stories or their status. So we are grateful to have that. Thank you for sharing. Yes, thank you for sharing. Thank you so much. This morning, I'm sharing with us another sister of mine, Oh, I call her my family. We call each other my family. Omali Chanwa, number one, my sister, my friend. How we met is still a miracle. See, don't let people lie to you. I used to be. Some of us have believed some. I won't call them lies because they were not intended to be lies. So no, let me not call them lies. There are people's opinions that some of us have made universal. You know, sometimes I even make the mistake. Many of us do it. We want to share our opinion, but we say it in a universal way. So it is, maybe I haven't made new friends since I left secondary school. So I say something like, oh no, you know, your best friends in life are those you met in secondary school. It's not a truth, it is somebody's experience. So I debunk that particular fallacy that has been sold to many of us as a truth that your best friends were made in secondary school. They're not. I met Ella a few years ago on the gram, on Instagram. I was granted a sister on Instagram. She sent me a message. We started chatting in the DM, and then we had lunch. We had our first lunch, second lunch, and the rest is history. I will tell you let me tell you the official part. Okay, she's a thought doctor by profession, a licensed NLP practitioner, that's neuro linguistics programming practitioner, transformational life coach, a speaker trainer, people developer, and she is in the business of encouraging people. You see her do this all the time. She's very passionate about thinking intentionally, not thinking because of programming, but thinking because this is the intention. And to help people become more intentional speakers, she dropped at some point her flourishing banking career to focus on this dream that she knows is larger than almost any other career that she could have had. So you would find her speaking at schools, in parents forums, teenage forums, and of course at Wiser and other platforms like this, because this is her passion and her love. Let me also say the other thing that she knows has become her her badge of honor. Ella was the one who introduced me to my love, George Ikoli Spiff, my husband. You know, they were gym buddies, they're neighbors. And then it was Ella who was watching my IG live once, and George was like, ah, who's that person? Who's that person? Who's that person? And the rest, like they say, so Ella is a part
Oh.
of my journey, my success. Ella is one of the few people that I call when I need to think on certain things. What do you think? She has ideas. She would ask me questions that would make me go, oh, okay. She would just have a very subtle way of just throwing in the question right there. So I share Ella with my family and wiser too. Ella, mwah, welcome. I love you so much. Thank you for doing this again.
Thank you so much for having me. Hey, Wiser Nation!
Woo! Welcome,
Oh
Ella.
my
I'll take the
God.
back seat now.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. See all the things that Joyce has given you people this morning, all the background information. Oh, what an honor to be here and to share with you guys, our beautiful lives. I am so honored to be here. Welcome, 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 everybody. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. So, Joyce has already taken almost 10 minutes of our time. So let's just jump into it right away. Let's just jump into it. Okay, so this is how I want to start. I want to start by reminding us of the reason why we are reading the book of Proverbs. What's the reason? The first is that it's to give us information, is to give us leadway, is to give us direction on how to live our lives daily, right? Imagine if you had somebody clearly telling you at every point of the way, this is what to do, even on your career path. Imagine if you had a mentor telling you, this is what to do right now. This is the next step to take. Oh, you need to make this turn. Imagine how quick, how accelerating your growth in your career will be. That is what the book of Proverbs represents to us. It's like God showing us love to the extent that he gave us a roadmap and saying, and he says, if you want to live daily, if you want to live without stress, less pain, less mistakes, less, learning, let your learning curves not be too much, let it not be so bumpy, then you have to go through this book, right? That's the whole essence. And where does it come from? This comes from a place of love. So every time we read it, we need to always remember that every information that we read in the book of Proverbs flows from the place of love. It's only when you love someone that you're looking out for the person and you want to make sure that the person is making the right choices, right decision, right turns at every point. So that is the where this is flowing from. And the chapter 6 that we are reading today, truly, we are already in chapter 6. Amazing. The chapter 6 that we are reading today comes about because there is an existing position already. So, Ella, what do you mean? From verse 1 to 5, God has already declared his stand as regards to securing loans or facilities on behalf of friends. His position on it is do not do it. That's his position, right? We can see that information if you read Proverbs 22. When we get to Proverbs 22, you will see where he states it clearly on this. You would also see it in Proverbs 11. His position is do not do it. Do not secure a loan on behalf of a friend, right? That's his position. But he also acknowledges that we are a people of will, that he has given us a will to make decisions, to make choices, to decide what we want to do. And it's on that basis that we are reading the Proverbs chapter 6 from verse 1 to 5. Right? So let's go read what it says. Okay, it says, my son, if that's what shows us that is a condition, it's like a choice that we get to make, right? He says, if you have become security for your neighbor, if you have given your pledge for a stranger or another, you are snared with the words of your lips, you are caught by the speech of your mouth. Do this now, like do it now, at once and earnestly, my son, and deliver yourself when you have put yourself into the power of your neighbor. He says, go, be still and humble yourself and beg your neighbor to pay his debts and thereby release you. Say, give not unnecessary sleep to your eyes, nor slumber to your eyelids. He says, deliver yourself as a roe. Another translation will say as a deer or a gazelle from the hand of the hunter, and as a bird from the hand of a fowler. So he's saying to us, I have told you not to do this, but he understands relationship. He understands ties. He understands that there are some friendships that you will not be able to say no. He says, if you do it, this is what you should do. And he now gave us an illustration. He says, a deer as a hunter. So I tried to check. I said, how does it deers, how do they behave? Deers, they are very alert. They are very sensitive to sound. No matter how you try to feint it, they can pick it, right? And when they sense danger, one of the things they do is that they could run or they can run to the open. From there, they will survey to see the extent of what the attacker or the hunter, where he is and what he's up to. That's how the deer behaves. So what is he asking us to do? He's saying, if you secure a loan, if you sign a guarantor form, if you stand in as security on something, this is what you should do. One, you should be alert. You should be aware. You should assess your exposure, right? Don't be sentimental. You should follow up. You should, hey, God, as you don't finish signing and go to sleep. No, you will have to monitor. You have to follow up with the person to make sure that the person is paying up on their loan. right? So earlier in my career, in when I was while I was still in banking, there was this guy Cornelius, good guy. He was in my team, and all of a sudden, Cornelius needed a loan, and another thing, I was sentimental. He's an Igbo boy. He needed my help. Blah 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 blah. So I guaranteed the loan. I went to sleep. Oh, I just assumed that Colinius would pay his loan. What's my business? So I didn't check. I didn't know when Colinius stopped paying. I didn't even know when Colinius was sacked. Right? I didn't know when the loan turned to bad loan. It was when they now wrote me to say, oh, they've been trying to reach him. I was like, what? What happened here? Where was I? What's going on? I paid the loan, because they booked it for me. It turned to be my loan. So imagine if I was already in Wiser Nation at that time, or if I knew this at this time. Yes, I knew that. I know I had my reservations, but well, I just did it. So imagine that I would have saved myself my hard-earned money. I wouldn't have had to pay, because at some point, Colina stopped answering my calls. Right up to today, he didn't reach back. He didn't say hello. He didn't say the bank has collected. They collected everything. Right? So wisdom is trying to save us from that, save us from such experiences. Is that not love? Tell me now, is that not love? I think that that's love, showing us what exactly we need to do. All right, let's run. Let's run. Okay, so we are reading verse 6. He now says, go to the ants, you sluggard. Consider her ways and be wise. When I was reading this, I said, oh, he's showing us a way to learn. And the learning he's referring to here is learned by observation. He says, go and look at it. I remember Coach Uche. Yes, Uche. Yes, she said something like this. Learn by observation. So the question is, yes, who are you going to learn from? Right? So it's not just everybody that you go and be observing. No, you have to observe intentionally. There's a reason why you are observing. Right? So you're observing people who are living the life that you want, people who are already in the pathway that you want to start from. Sometimes you learn from your friends, right? Sometimes it's just by just sitting down and listening. There are a lot of things that Joyce have said in the course of this time that, I was telling her yesterday, I have been filing. You pick up this, you say like, oh, I never saw it like that. You file. You check again. Oh, somebody says something else. You pick it, you file, and you implement. Right? That's what wisdom. He says, observe. But he doesn't say just observe anybody. He told us who to observe. And he says we should observe the ants. And he gave us reasons why we should observe the ants. Right? So we won't just observe anybody. We will observe those who are living the lives that we already want. The people that that are already on your path. Okay, you want to be a chartered accountant. Can you find a chartered accountant who is a chartered accountant that you want to be? Right? A mother. Can you find a mother who is the kind of mother that you want to be? Can you find marriages that are working the way that you want your marriage to be? And observe, what are they doing? What are they reading? What are they learning? And bring yourself to that learning, and you will produce the same kind of result. So what does the ant do? Ant, he doesn't need any motivational speaker to spur him to act. No, the ant is self-motivated. That's what we see in verse 7. He says, which having no chief, overseer, or ruler, provides. So the ant plans. So you see that he told us to observe the ant, and there's a reason why we are observing the ant. He says he's self-motivated. He doesn't need somebody monitoring him to see if he delivers, if he does his job, if he comes to work, what time did he come, has he cleaned, did he move the desk? No. And the ant doesn't behave that way. And the funny thing is, sometimes the way we carry on like, now that I'm working this way, I can act the way that I want to act. Or you live in a home, you feel that you can live the way you want, you can do whatever you want. Then when I now go to my own home, then I will now behave right. That's story. The way you do one thing is the way you will do everything, right? You feel that, oh, when I now start my business, then I'll now start handling it well. I would attend to customers better. I would do this better. It doesn't work that way. It's the way you do one thing. That's the way you do everything. I remember then I used to, when it was time to present, we'd go for MPRs and all of that. I did most of the MPRs. Those skills that I acquired, did I leave it in the bank when I was leaving? No, I took it with me. So today, put me in front of any audience, I would do it. Why? Because I built that muscle while I was in the banking industry. Right? I could speak to anybody. It's not a problem. You saying no is not a problem. I've heard no before now. Do you understand? So I have built. So every day you are building muscle. So if you decide that you will do this thing differently, then when you start your own, you will now change, my dear. That's a big fat lie. It doesn't work that way. You will see that you will leave work undone. You will see that you will forget a lot of things. People will be chasing you to deliver because that's exactly what you used to do. That's the muscle that you have built, right? So that's it. It says, oh, how long will you sleep, oh sluggard? When will you arise out of your sleep? When? So I did something. I checked. There's this sleep foundation. They gave us how we should be sleeping. They said if you are 0 to 3 months, you're supposed to sleep 14 to 17 hours. If you are 4 to 11 months, 12 to 15, 1 to 2 years, 11 to 14, 3 to 5, 10 to 13 hours, 6 to 13, 9 to 11. For this category, 18 to 25, you're supposed to be sleeping 7 to 9 hours. If you are 26 to 64, you're supposed to be sleeping 7 to 9 hours. Yes, that's what your body needs. Every other thing, you're just dashing him. Do you understand? So, what do you need in terms of sleep to survive, to be effective, to do what you're supposed to do? As I'm sure most of us on this call, okay, most of us on this call, let me give us from 14 to 64. Okay, I have my kids on this call. So even if I go backwards and say 9 to 64 or 70, yes, 75 and 65 and above, the maximum, yeah, is 9 hours. The least is 7 hours. So anything outside that is, you're just dashing yourself. You're just, let me use the word, you're putting away stuff. You are indulging. You are allowing your body dictate what you should do and when you should do it. Are we here? Are we all here? All right, let's move. So we see, and when I was reading this, I found it very, very, very funny. When in verse 11, when he now said that the poverty is your own. So if you like, sleep for 24 hours. Yeah, do you understand? Go and lie down very well. Sleep, no problem. The poverty that he's talking about is your own, is person specific. So you that sleeps for 3 hours, and or you that sleeps for 24 hours, 10 hours, 12 hours, you leave what you need to do, you leave it undone, right? The poverty, he says, is it shows possessive, is the individuals. So it doesn't affect every other person. It's going to affect only you, the person that is indulging. Okay, so he says, so will your poverty come like a robber, or one who travels with slowly. So it's subtle. You don't even see it coming. Which song did they used to sing? They never see us coming. Da, 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 da. That's how the poverty is coming. As in, you don't see it, but it's creeping in on you because you would have things undone. You would have projects, deadlines that you're not meeting. Customers are complaining. Before you know it, some people will just quietly leave without you even noticing. Then one day you will just wake up and you find out that it's or you're only you in that situation. Why? Because you have indulged, right? All right. It says here, yeah, with slowly but surely approaching steps. And it shows us again, it's yours. It's not everybody's own. It's yours. And your wants, like an armed man, making you helpless. Endless wants. Endless wants. How would you not have wants when you are not creating, when you are not producing, when you are delaying, when there are things undone, when you are not meeting up? Do you know how many times I've been tempted to say praise the Lord? Oh my God. All right, so we're in verse 12. We're in verse 12 now. It talks about a category of people. It says, a worthless person, a wicked person. Then it now goes to describe what makes someone worthless and what makes someone wicked. Right? It now says, is he who goes about with a perverse, contrary, and wayward mouth. So this is what describes somebody as worthless. So I did some work. I said, okay, what does it mean for somebody to have worthless mouth? It means that the person talks dirty, the person distorts truth, he hides, he covers that which is true. The person is deceitful. So somebody like that is a person who wisdom describes as worthless or as a wicked person. So when we talk about wayward mouth, the person also gives false representation, or the person misrepresents. A contrary mouth, the person speaks forward, dirty talks, contrary to what is right, contrary to God's word. The person speaks with the intention to mislead. That's the person that wisdom has described to us this morning as worthless. So at this point, I paused and I said, at this point, we need to do a character audit so that wisdom will not be looking at us. We're wisers now. Do you know who we are? So we cannot fall into this category of people who are described as worthless. We're getting wiser. We're going there. Right? So we cannot be described. So dirty talks, you talk with the intention of being deceitful. You sow discord, you enjoy, it gives you joy. But wisdom describes you as worthless. And this thing, it flows from somewhere. It flows from somewhere. It flows from what's going on in the inside. It flows from your heart. Because that's where you cook everything that you bring out of your mouth, is in your heart. So it shows that there's something going on there that needs to be checked. Right? Either there's pain, there's betrayal, there's insecurity, and all. That's what is going on there. And that's why how sometimes I remember when, even in clear talks, clean talks, I remember when I used to feel the need to engage, so we're in a place. I used to feel the need to be the live of the events, to be the one talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. I don't just want the place to be quiet and boring. But wisdom has taught me that sometimes it is okay to be quiet and just listen. It's okay. It says, even when a fool shuts his mouth, it's counted to him as wisdom. So yes, so we can be the life of the party, but at some point, we can also keep quiet so that we do not, in the process of wanting to talk and to keep life going or keep the place bubbling, we begin to sound like worthless and wicked people. Right? So we will do some character audits. Any of this that we fall in, perverse, dirty talks and all of that, we can clean it out so that in this, as we get better, as we become wiser, one of the things that we would have done is to remove ourselves from that group of people who can be described as worthless. So verse 13 also talks about, he winks his eyes, he speaks by shuffling or tapping with his feet. He makes signs to mislead and deceive, and teaches with his fingers. The intention of the talk, that's the point. The intention of the conversation is to deceive. And that's what wisdom checks per time. What is your intention? This conversation you are having now, where are you going to with it? What's your aim? What's the objective of the conversation? And the end is to deceive. And as long as that is it, wisdom describes you as a worthless person. You willful. Everybody is going direction A. You will decide that no way, I cannot do that. I have to go B. He says willful and contrary in heart. He devises trouble, vexation, and evil continually. That's your job. And you think it's a strength. You know me. You don't know me. I cannot. Oh, I do not. Oh, that one. They haven't seen anything yet. And you feel that's strength, Abi? No. Wisdom describes you as worthless. That's what it describes you. Worthless. Oh my God. It cannot be also. Like none of us in this wiser nation will be described as worthless, right? So we will do audits if there are things that we need to check, things that we need to, there's an instruction given, and you will devise in your heart that what you are going to do is to do the opposite because you want to prove a point, or you want to show that you are who you are. Wisdom describes you as worthless. When I saw it, I said, Kai, wisdom, you can be very harsh. Oh." As in, you can be so harsh. He gave you, say, that's what you are, a worthless person. And I know that all of us here, as we learn this, we would begin to get better at it, right? He says you deliberately, willful, you deliberately plant trouble. You come into a place, the place is peaceful, and you decide that no, this place is too peaceful. Oh, let me go and ferment trouble. And you think that that's okay. That's not okay. That's not okay, right? It just shows what's going on in your heart, and it also shows that there's some healing that needs to happen there. All right, so we are in verse 15. We're in verse 15. Therefore, upon him shall. I loved this. I said, okay, so see, wisdom has described to us who a worthless person is, who a wicked person is. He told us they talk perverse, they are contrary, they are constantly fermenting trouble, but that's not the point. It's their end that is their problem. That is the problem. He says calamity, trouble. Yeah, their end, they don't end well. So I was saying to myself, so this is another place where wisdom is showing us love. When I told you that it flows from the place of love, he knows what the end of people like this. He knows their end. And he's saying to us this morning, don't do that. Do you understand? Don't do that to yourself. Don't do that at all. Because the end, what's the end? He says, therefore, upon him shall the crushing weight of calamity come suddenly. Suddenly shall he be broken and without remedy. So people who take pleasure in fermenting trouble, who intentionally disobey, intentionally plan discord, their end is calamity. So I remember one time too, I was watching a movie with one of my coaches, Mr. Stephen Omojugbe. And in this, we finished the show in Silver Bed. And I was panicking. I was shaking like this. I was like, yeah, 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 yeah. The good man is suffering so much. And he was just looking at me and laughing. So I was asking him, I said, Coach, have you watched this movie before? He said, no. I said, why? I said, so why are you this calm? He said, because I know the end now. I know how these things work. So I said, how does it work? He said, don't you know, Ella, that evil never wins. And because he knows the end, that's why he's calm. So because we know the end of people who use their mouth carelessly, who use their mouth with the intention of causing trouble, because we know what their end looks like, if we need to cry to God to help us, to heal us of whatever puts us in that position to behave that way, then we have to go and cry. Because we don't want sudden calamity. We don't want catastrophe. Another translation use the word even hearing the word say catastrophe. See how big it is. That's how the what is coming to people who behave that way. That's what comes to them. Total wreck. Nothing. Their life is ruined without beyond repair. No remedy. No remedy. Evil never wins. And so knowing that, we will be calm. We will control our mouth. We will check our heart. We would always audit our heart. I always will say to myself, check my heart. Oh, Ella, where's this flowing from? This thing you are saying, what's the source? What's the source of it? Is it from the place of anger? Is it from the place of bitterness? Why did you sound that way? Why did you say that? Why did you do that? You always have to audit, because if you don't audit, you won't understand what's going on. Why is it that when you step into a place, the atmosphere just changes? You just pollute the entire place. Then there's something going on, right? And thank God we have the Holy Spirit who can heal us. And if we ask him sincerely, he would heal. Okay, so let's run. We're looking at verse 16 now. We're going to look at 16. It says, these 6 things the Lord hates. Indeed, 7 are an abomination to him. He gives us all of it. A proud look. The spirit that makes one overestimate himself and underestimate others. So it's only you, Abby. It's only you. You step into a place, everybody is nothing. It's only you. You know how we treat even the people that our staff, people that work for us, all of that is also shows who we are. Every human being deserves some respect. Is a person, your security guard, your cleaner, your driver, whoever, they deserve some form of respect. So as Wisarians, we know to do better. We know to speak to people with respect, treat them okay. It's not about them, it's about who you are. You know how sometimes I tell myself, no, I'm not going to learn that behavior. No, it's not a right behavior, and I'm not going to learn it. I'm not going to become that person who would treat people so poorly because of, other experiences. No. Instead, I will get myself out of that environment or out of that relationship that will cause me to begin to treat people as though they are less than me. No, a lying tongue, they just touch you like this. Just, how sometimes we have built the muscle of lie, that sometimes we now lie when there's no need for it. They just touch you. Phew. Or the hands that shed innocent blood. God says, I hate it. He says it's an abomination. I hate it. He did not even say it. He did not say it with cautious or paint it. He says, I totally do not like it. You know how sometimes, even with the children, I will tell them that when you try to tell a lie because you want to avoid punishment, may I not catch you? If I catch you, may I not? If I catch you, that punishment you will chop it very well, because that lying, I cannot allow you build the muscle for lying. I cannot allow you. So I will do everything that I can do to dissuade you from building the muscle, because everything is about habits. We take it for granted now. It's okay. Oh, you get away. You get away. Before you know it, it becomes a pattern for you that you hardly say the truth. You can't even say it, because the muscle for lying has taken over you. That truth, the muscle for truth is backwards. I say no. You can't even tolerate it. You know how sometimes you have to call yourself. You call yourself out. You notice that that's becoming a pattern. You say, you know what? Anytime. I remember one of my coaches also saying that she had to teach herself that way. She gives you a wrong compliment, and in unsincere compliment, insincere compliment, she will go back and embarrass herself because she's trying to unlearn the need of lying. Even when you look at somebody, the person is not behaving well, and you now say, you're very fantastic, really. But you know that that's not true. And you think that that's just okay. No, you are building muscles. You are building muscles. You are making your body feel that it is okay to talk like that. right? So we know not to do that. When we give compliments, our compliments are sincere. If you don't like it, just keep quiet. If you think it's not okay, just keep quiet. Don't say anything. It's better not to say anything than to say what is not true. Have you seen somebody and their maybe their bag or their dress or something? You now say, this is it. Especially in shops, you go to buy dresses. They are looking at you. Oh, they know that this your body type does not suit the dress, and they'll be telling you it's fine. Why? Why are we like that? Why? You know that this is not okay. And you're saying this. The person says, how do I look? And you say, you look very nice. So really, the person looks nice. Please. Oh my God. All right, let's run. Let's run. So we know, yeah, lying tongue. It says a heart that manufactures wicked thoughts and plans. Yes, a heart that manufactures wicked thoughts and plans. See what that's the way you cook it now. Before, is there anything you do without even those things that we think were, how do we say, spontaneous? Nothing is spontaneous. Everything you had sown the seed in your heart. It's just that the right opportunity showed up and you acted. It wasn't spontaneous behavior. It happened first in your heart. That's why what goes on in our heart, it's so key. That's why wisdom will say, guard your heart, guard it, put padlock, put gates, iron bars. What goes on there? Because everything you do flows from that place. Right? That's where you cook it. The lie you want to lie. Haven't you seen when you want to say, you prepare, say, when I get there, this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to do this, and I'll say this. And when she responds, I'll say this. You've already prepared. When you get there and she's acting and you're acting, it's already prepared. So it's for us to consistently check what is going on in our heart. And he who sows discord amongst brethren. Come on. Right? So we're looking at verse 20. You see peace, you come into a place, there's peace, you decide to cause trouble. My dear, wisdom is calling you out. Oh, it's not okay. Right? And as Wisarians, we will not intentionally cause discord. Peace is beautiful. Coming to a place where there's harmony is beautiful. Sometimes that's my prayer, that, when people step into my environment, that the peace and the joy is tangible. You know how you come into a place, you can practically touch it. That's the place. Or when I step in, that's what I bring with me. I don't bring discord. And that's what we should bring with us as Wisarians. We bring peace. When there's chaos and you step in, people are like, oh, thank God she stepped in, because they know that everything that comes with you. There's something about energy. There's some people that their energy is so repelling. And that's a result of all that is going on in the inside, in their thoughts, in their hearts, in their mind. That's where it is. Nobody sees it, but your aura communicates this. Even your presence alone just douses the atmosphere. The joy that is there disappears. He says, my son, keep your father's given commandment, and forsake not the law of your mother. Some of us, we have grown. We don't have father, mother to instruct us at this point of our life right now. But thank God that we have wiser. Thank God for this opportunity to learn from here. This is our own parent instruction. This is our own guidance. This is our own, where we pick up the things that, probably we could have known when we were younger, that would have saved us. Some of the stress that we have gone through, that going forward, thank God that we have this opportunity. And wisdom is saying, do not forsake it. What we have learned from day 1 to day 6, don't forsake it. What you will learn from day 1 to day 31, don't forsake it. Keep it. It says, bind it upon your heart and tie them about your neck. You carry it like your necklace is there. It says, when you go, the words of your parents, now us, the words of Proverbs will keep you. It will lead you when you sleep. They shall keep you. And when you wake, they shall talk with you. Because after we have done this, we will go and keep chewing on it. right? It will keep us. Joyce was, if you remember what she said, she was about making a poor decision. Wisdom will just give you passports. I say, hey, Ayla, what's that? I say, come on, come on, come on, come on. You're not supposed to act that way. And people will not even understand what's going on. But because you have spent a lot of time with wisdom, wisdom guides you. It says, for the commandment is a lamp, is a direction, is what gives you direction. They're asking you, how are you able to take decisions like this? How are you able to live your life like this? They won't understand that you spent 31 days plus, 31 days plus every other day, going through, reading over the things that you have taken, the instructions of your father that you have found in the book of Proverbs. And he has made, see, he now gives us, he now says, see, part of what your father will tell you, that's what wisdom is telling you. He says, how do you identify someone who is tricky, someone whose intention is to deceive you, cause you harm? He says, this thing that you learn from wisdom, will see what it's going to do for you. It's going to keep you from the evil woman, from the flattering tongue of a loose woman. So the things that we have picked from today, from day one to today, the things that we will pick going forward, it will keep us. This woman can represent anybody. It can even represent the woman gongo. Right? That as she makes a move, you're like, babe, I got you. Just go and chill. There's no road here. No, I don't do this. I'm wiser. This thing they offering me on a platter of gold, I don't take it. I don't chop. I don't eat cheap things. No, I'm wiser. I've learned that you like this, you are trouble. You are trouble packed. And we can avoid it. That's what he's saying. Because we have learned, we can avoid it. He says, Lust not after her beauty in your heart, neither let her capture you with her lips. So whichever way, you are guarding your heart. In your heart, you are not contemplating it, you are not even considering it. And your eyes, you say, no way, you can't even look there twice. This can represent different things. It can represent, Joyce was talking about it yesterday, it can represent anything to you, anything that tries to take your attention away. I know there's also another way that we don't look at this. Every time anything that takes the place of God in your life is that woman. Anything that takes your attention from God, from what you know you're supposed to do, is that woman. Right? Is that woman. So we know that we will not consider, we will not even play it. You just, as you are hearing, you are discarding what you have heard. He says, for on account of the harlot, a man is brought to a piece of bread, and the adulteress stalks and snares as with a hook the precious life of a man. Why we are spending this time is because we understand the value of our lives. We understand how important every day of our life is. We understand the importance of the choices that we make. And that is why we are spending the time that we are spending, so that we can make better decisions. We can make better choices. We can take the right turns. We can show up better. We can show up like people that have spent time studying. It says, are you going to carry? It says, can a man take fire on his bosom and his clothes not be burned? How can that happen? It's not possible. If you entertain, that's why there are gates, right? Then let me just talk about this. There are gates. You see your eyes, you see your ears, you see what you hear. You would use padlock, or even if you like, I don't even know the biggest chain you would use to block it off. Sometimes even the radio in my car, I can't remember the times that I put it on. I am so conscious of what I hear because these things interfere. So I was talking to a friend of mine, and she called me and she was talking about Nigeria. And she goes, doing business in Nigeria is so difficult. Things are so hard. Da 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 da. When she was talking, I was just listening to her. I know this person. Her business is actually thriving in this time. The Nigeria she was trying to describe is not her experience. So I asked her, I said, who have you been listening to? Who are you hearing? Who are you speaking with? Who are you spending time with? That's when she now realized that, okay. She said, why are you asking, Ella? I said, because everything you have said is not your experience. It's a borrowed experience that you are expressing. And the danger with that is the more you sit down with those borrowed experiences, you create yours. Because you will come up with behaviors that will now give you the reward of the experience that you have borrowed. Right? So that's why we have to guard our heart and guard our gates. What we are watching, what we are hearing, what we are reading, all of that. Nothing. When we talk about subliminal advertising, nothing is for nothing. Everything that you see that is put out for a reason. There's a purpose why it's put out. And if you don't guard yourself, you would fall into the category of the people that that information was set out for. Okay, so we're in verse 29. So he who cohabits with his neighbor's wife, and we had said this can represent anything. It can represent social media. Even in real time, if you go and chase your neighbor's wife, they catch you, I'm sorry. Wisdom tells you that the guy will not forgive you. He will deal with you squarely, right? And it can represent every other thing. Anything that takes your attention will cost you. It will cost you something. And today, wisdom has reminded us that no, we know better. We will guard our gates so that we don't fall prey to these things. All right. It says, men do not despise. Okay, still describing how when they catch you. It says, a man, when he catches you, verse 30, men do not despise a thief if he steals to satisfy himself when he is hungry. But if he is found out, he must restore 7 times. Right? So if these things, what they cost us too much, and we can't play with any of them. All right, so let's go to verse 32. Yeah, but whoever commits adultery with a woman lacks heart and understanding. We have dwelt on this. Real life or any other thing. For me, adultery, even when I read it or when you see how the Lord describes it, every time he describes it, even when he's talking with the children of Israel, every time anything that interferes between you and God, anybody, it becomes adultery. Running to other places. You know how we are spending time here getting wisdom, and you decide that no, you can't do this work. You want to go and check it out somewhere else. Which shortcut do you want to go and get? How do you want to make the money? Shortcuts, that becomes adultery. All of them become adultery. Right? So it's not you say, oh no, I don't chase men, I don't chase women. But what are the other things that are going on? What are the other shortcuts that you are involved in? Those things are also adultery because it takes you from the original. It takes you from the primary. It takes you from who you were intended to be with. He says, wounds and disgrace will he get, and his reproach will not be wiped away. For jealousy makes the wronged man furious. Even God, when he describes when anything takes your attention, he's angry about it. He doesn't like it. Right? He doesn't like it at all. And it makes him very jealous. So anything. Verse 35, he will not consider any ransom offered to buy him off from demanding full punishment. Neither will he be satisfied, though you offer him many gifts and bribes. Right? that final day, God will not accept. There's no bribe we can give. Whenever your final day comes, there's no bribe that we can give him. He has given us everything. He has shown us so much love that he has provided information so that we can make right choices. And I'm very grateful to God for the opportunity to even see that there is a book like this that we can read and to see the numerous information that can guide our day-to-day lives. It's been my pleasure to share this morning with everybody that is on this call. I have enjoyed it, and I hope that you too have picked 1, 2, 3, 5 things that you are going to apply, because that's where the work is. It's in the application. So, what have you heard today? Even if it's just one thing that you are taking with you that you are going to go and apply, you today would have served you. So, thank you so much for having me. I enjoyed myself, and I hope you did too. Joyce, where are you? Yay! Thank
I
you,
am
thank
right
you,
here
thank you,
updating my
everybody.
notes. I wanted to come up at some point. I said, no, Ella, you will stay here, continue till it's 7 o'clock.
No, I was
Thank
looking. I
you.
said, no, 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 Ella, you're not going to do this.
Thank you so much. Major point for me, the first major point was it does come from a place of love. There are times that even I, Ella, me, Joyce, there are times I'm tempted to think that the instructions of wisdom are coming from a place of if I catch you.
Yeah,
So it was a good reminder that it is because I am loved.
yeah.
Why is the wisdom is trying to protect me? See, all the thank yous are coming up in the chats. Thank you, all people.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
It is because I'm trying to be protected. God is trying to protect me. Wisdom is trying to protect me.
Mm,
So don't resist, because sometimes the resistance comes from, don't flog me now. You know how when you've done something and your parents wants to flog you, and then you're not saying, in fact, flog me if you want,
yeah.
because we think we are in a struggle. But when we remember this is from love, it's easier to say, I hear you. I hear
Yeah.
you. Yes, this is not what I really want to do, but I'll do it because it benefits me. It's
Mm,
best for me. So I
yeah.
need to remember that
Mm,
it is best for me. Wisdom can be applied to everything we do
everything.
if we are conscious. So, takeaway for me is to be more conscious. I'm in the season right now of improving my business processes. So, I have had wonderful products to give in the past to sell. Oh, you buy my this book, you buy my that course. But the business processes were not very tidy. Ah, no,
Mm,
not very tidy. After sales, service, all of that. Sometimes you just take things for granted because the thought wasn't put in. So right now, this is the season. My team and I were trying to tidy up a number of things. And I'm saying it's not just because it is the right thing, it's because we also love our clients. We want to
yes.
appreciate them. So the wiser thing should have love first. And I think we studied that on one of the days earlier, where it says
Mm,
start with love, start with God. So I'm grateful to you, Ella. I thank you for sharing of yourself. The truth is, this is you every day. I remember there are times when I would maybe make one or two comments and you go, Joyce, where did that come from? Where, JD, where did you, that thing you said just now, where did it come from? I was like, what did I say? And you go, what did you just, I'm like, oh, okay. Because you call our attention to thought. Ella, have I ever seen you angry?
I don't think so,
I don't
but
think
I get
so.
angry,
In
Sha.
all these years, I've seen you angry. Yes, I have seen you angry, but I've never seen you misbehave in anger. You always, even, yes, I've seen you angry, but it will be same calm and saying, this is why this shouldn't be. And this is why, you put so much thought into the arrangement of your anger. I'm grateful to have you as a friend. I'm grateful to have you as a coach. And it is my sincere prayer that we all will attract our kind, meaning we have to be a certain way
Yeah,
to attract a certain kind.
yeah.
So if you want to attract a certain kind, determine today that you will be a certain way. So
Mm,
that when you see your kind, you will attract. And when you see what is not your kind, it's easier for you to walk away.
yeah.
That's my prayer, that you would have friends that would encourage you, friends that would lift you. And more importantly, you will be the friend that can lift others. George said he has seen you angry. Oh. Friend that will
Oh, I've seen
encourage
it.
others. You'll be the friend that can lift others. You'll be that friend that can be a wiser board
Mm,
for other people. It's 7 o'clock. It's time to say good morning.
mm,
Cheers to being
cheers.
wiser. My tea is
Yes.
cold now.
Yeah, I have my yes. Cheers. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers.
my
Cheers.
love.
Cheers.
Cheers,
Cheers.
everyone. Have a great day. We are blessed in Jesus' name.
Amen.
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 Bye for now.
Bye.